To put my 2 cents on the whole Elon, interview, and I got to tell you, I'm probably the most like independent. I hate politics, like just despise them. Like just it's not in my DNA. But if I just take this purely as thinking about Twitter as an advertising business and what this guy spent, over $40 billion on, right? You don't say tell these major brands to go F off. Like, I get there's like an ideology component, right? And I'm not, gonna comment on like whether or not I agree or disagree with everything he said, after that. And that's not because because I just don't want to even go there. I'm just gonna keep it to the business. But, it's just terrible for the advertising business to do it. And you don't do that with, your CEO, quote CEO in the audience, whose job is to sell advertising and court advertisers, where she was formerly at NBC. So, and I think the rationale around like him trying to say like it's, it would be their fault, right? If they're killing the company because it's their decision to boycott. That's one way of thinking about it. The other thing is that brands are notoriously skittish, and brand safety and advertising is a big deal. And look, we can go all the way back to when Elon first started making waves with Twitter in the beginning of 22. And it's all time stamped on the platforms, like saying like, look, I wonder if he's ran through a scenario where brand advertisers flee after the deal closes over brand safety concerns. And then I didn't want to go there, but I was also like, hey, there's risk here that, like tremendous financial risk here, because I don't think Elon understands like that he potentially bought an ad business. And the reality is that when you're an advertising platform and an ad business, there are inherent conflicts of interest, right? It's just what happens. And so you either have to embrace those to support the business, or your business is going to transform. So I think, it was a really interesting interview. I think a lot of his points on, the world and especially around kind of perception versus reality were spot on. But from a business standpoint, right, like the things he says is not going to help. So it's going to be really interesting to see the financials of the company if we get any glimpse of them. I was kind of doing some math for it. I don't see how they can get to cash flow break even here. And, the concern was that his commentary seemed to be like he's just willing to just let this thing go bankrupt almost to make a point at this point, and let the world judge and be able to blame, the advertisers for bailing on the platform for bankrupting the company. Of course, if Twitter does go bankrupt, right, it's not like it's going to go away. Like the platform's still going to exist. It might be under new ownership. It might not. And whoever's going to, maybe, and might even be a shell company that comes out of this with a lot of NOLs, right, that could be used as a future tax savings. Like there's a lot of things that can come out of this where if it does go down that path, it's not like it's the end of the world. It could actually be something that's quite positive. But unfortunately, I don't see how the advertising business here recovers, and I don't see how engagement trends pick back up. I was just looking at the data this morning, and I'll tweet something out too that just shows just where usage trends are going, time spent trends are going relative to everything else. It continues to go in the wrong direction.
Like what I can empathize with Elon Red Pills is the concept that let's just use what I did yesterday. I literally bludgeoned Bill Ackman in an early look, right? We run an institutional research business. I knew I was taking the risk of what I don't care. I never want to do business with the guy again in my life. So there's no opportunity to generate institutional revenue from Pershing Square ever. But we've known that for a long time. But I also knew what our community was going to say back. And it's actually an asset to me. Right. And I don't know, there are 24 people, including some very, very prominent hedge fund managers who sent me individual notes on how they call him a scumbag, but I don't want to get into it. It doesn't matter. But, I know I'm on the right side of that with people that are on the right side of principles. Right. And then there's the other factor, which is like, I don't give a I mean, if I don't need to make another dollar in my life to be happy. But what I do need to do is stay, true to the principles of our company: transparency, accountability, trust, calling out Wall Street, charlatans, book pushers, whatever, because that's how our community came to be. And that's actually how we, in the end, make money anyway. So I can empathize with some of the things he did, but like, look, if you're running Twitter, and you want it to be a business, you basically can't do that.
Hey there, Hedgeye Nation, or if you're not part of Hedgeye Nation, thanks for watching Hedgeye on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to click on the button below there. Subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow the link in the description to our website to get even more great investing content.